time again to have a look at the month ahead. And another exciting month in the land is due as the president continues to face the challenges resulting out of his recent actions. Of course, I did predict in May that during June the president would face serious challenges to his image and he will suffer because of his own blind spot. And of course, in the last month, we have seen him face, or not really face, the crisis produced by his failure to disclose the highly suspicious robbery at his farm some 2 years ago and the strange storage of foreign currency in large amounts on that same farm. South Africans, of course, have been pressurizing him to tell us more about that, something he has consistently resisted, despite the fact that he is saying he is doing so on advice. We know this to be very typical Ramaphosa behavior, and we know from the astrology of it that the real issue here is that he's failing to see his blind spot, and that is why the crisis remains a dangerous crisis for him and perhaps by extension, of course, for the country. He, even in the face of what has happened and the exposure that has happened, he is failing to see the enormity of it, which really is obvious to the rest of us. Maybe he knows something we don't know. He likes us to believe that. And of course, it's possible that it's true. But the chart has insisted that it is a blind spot, and that blind spot is strong enough to seriously damage him. That continues to show in the month ahead for July that we are looking at this week. And in the month ahead of for July, we can see that some of the ramifications of his concealing this issue have extended to foreign countries and relationships with foreign countries. There might be some pressures on him that we are unaware of that are coming from some of his allies or other outsiders, or perhaps there aren't pressures. Perhaps there are something like advice or helping him conceal what's really going on. But from our South African point of view, the pressure from South Africans continues to mount on him. And it looks like over the next month or two, that's going to be a potentially very serious issue for the country. Not yet for him, who can still manage to bear under the pressure, but certainly for the country, where it might be actually affecting things like from things like the economy to the very sense of security that people are feeling. It looks like in the chart that there is rising unrest. The area to do with workers and strikes and all of those kind of things in the chart looks very activated, and so does unrest and violence in general. And that just really means more restlessness, more results of that we will see in terms of outbreaks of protests and other actions that might be related to the president's consistent refusal to open up and tell us what's really going on. We can also see some strong effect on the economy. Although in general, as we move over the course of the rest of the year, it does look like the financial situation will stabilize or gradually improve for at least a little while. That's not quite the case this month, which continues to be very unstable because of that instability with regards to the presidency. However, the ANC and the president seem to have a plan. As we know, we're also going to see the release of the 5th volume of the Zondo Commission's findings in the course of the next month, and it looks from the chart like the government will use information as a kind of a deflect from what is going on with the president. They will be releasing more information and possibly more aggressively pursuing people involved in that corruption scandal. We know that the Guptas might arrive in South Africa sometime in the future, probably not as near as that, but the chart is really full of lots of information and important information coming from and through the government, which both is valid in itself, but also serves as a bit of a distraction, because the chart is suggesting that some of our chickens come home to roost, that things that we've been avoiding or that the president has been avoiding, whoever, over the last little while have come home to roost. And the challenges against him remain very strong and remain so on and off for the next few years. So even if he survives the conference in December and stays president of the ANC and the country, the challenges against him are not off. Remember, this is something we've seen consistently over the last year or two, that there's a great deal of pressure on him. It just seems that his blind spot might be the very thing that his enemies have wanted. Not just yet, but the pressure ain't going away. In general, there is quite a strong focus on things related to foreign connections, foreign affairs, and so on. And I think South Africa probably has quite a lot to deal with and answer to in terms of our international relations. Even the small thing, perhaps, of Namibia's president being perhaps drawn in, perhaps really involved in the Ramaphosa scandal might have larger implications, as it looks like there's increasing pressure from foreign countries going on. But that's also related to the extradition of the Guptas, and it looks like communications and interactions with regards to that are proceeding fairly well. Something we've always struggled to do, as hard as we try in this country, is hold the government to account and get them to explain themselves. We have a history, this government and the previous government, of double speak, of dishonesty, of words not actions, and this seems to be an issue that is rising to the fore. It's a little bit like the chart is suggesting that South Africans are tired of excuses and tired of all the speak that has no action attached to it, and we're seeing more of such political speak in the next month than we've seen for a long time. This is the point for us to now start really holding them to account. The pressure on Ramaphosa, which he is successfully resisting, won't get him to reveal anything, but is a good reminder to us all that we need to ask our leaders, we need to hold them to account. But in this case, more importantly, we need to respond when they refuse to account. The unrest and those kind of things in the chart are a side effect that can be avoided, and it's really all about dialogue. I've said it very often on this show that the history of this country also is that the dialogue has always started at the grassroots. And once again, it's time for the people to start speaking and saying what it is that we want. And in the end, the Ramaphosa farm scandal is really just an opportunity for the people to find their voice. The month ahead for Aries looks like a balance is being reached and needs to be reached. For quite a while, you've had the opportunity to do your thing, to get your act together and go forward. And that progress does continue. It still looks like you're able to make advances. But right now, some adjustments need to be made. The charts look like there is necessary dependence on other people at the moment. And necessary dependence means you can't quite do it all alone. You require resources or input, maybe even money from other people, but you've got to be careful that that doesn't become a relationship that in some way causes you to act in ways that you shouldn't. That's really the challenge that's in your chart. Whether you're feeling resentful or you don't want to be in a position where you rely on other people, you need to look at that in yourself and clear that a little bit. This is a time when you have to rely on other people. So there's lessons of learning to accept graciously, but there's also a lesson of ensuring that both you and the other people benefit from what's being given to you, input for you. The point here is not about dependence. It's about gaining resources from others that allow you to pursue your goals. You're still going to be able to make the breakthrough, get to the goal, get to where you're going. You've just got to be okay with depending a little bit on others and okay with using that as a way that benefits you all. Taurus, this month provides you with a great opportunity to extend your influence or your ability to really draw in people and other things that you need beyond where you usually go, beyond where you usually get things from. It's time to stretch your horizons far and wide. For some Taurans, of course, that just is as simple as it's a great time to travel. But most of us won't get to travel at this time of the year, and this is really an opportunity to let travel come to you. This is a great time for anything, be it people, be it information, whatever connections from far and wide to benefit you. It really looks like you can achieve some important things, especially with regards to information. If there's knowledge you need, if you need to study, if there's information you're waiting for or that will further your cause, this is the time it's going to come in. But perhaps you need to look at people and resources that you don't normally see. Be careful to get a second opinion. Your chart says you're kind of a little overexcited during the course of July, and you might actually be a little bit irrational in the process. Jump at something too quickly is the warning that is given in the chart. So accept things that are new and different, but get someone you know or trust to look over them before you launch ahead with expanding those horizons. Gemini, it looks like you're moving into higher gear for July, and that's not something that's new to you this year. It's just been getting busier and busier, and that's not going to be changing anytime soon. In fact, not uncommonly for July, it looks like you've probably got quite a bit too much on your plate, and part of the challenge is identifying what the most important stuff is. It is all important, I agree. It looks like it is as well, but it's just not possible to do that much all at the same time. So this is about identifying things which further your true path. Gemini, it looks like you're working with things that really have long-term benefits in your life, or that can help some long-term goals really play out and evolve. This is where the priority needs to lie. Everything is going to seem to work well, and any kind of business will work well, and even the things that you still need to do, which might be small, trivial things, still will succeed, and they do need to be done. But it is a question of getting your priorities in order, and it's the long term where the best results will actually lie. It's also a good time for taking charge of anything that needs to be taken charge of in your home and in your family, whether that's about putting a foot down or finally getting something into action that should have happened a long time ago. The path is very open for Geminis. Take advantage of that, but just don't get carried away. Cancerians, this is your month, and it's time to kind of start a whole new cycle in your life. Your birthday is your new year, and it does look like it can really be a strong one for pursuing some goals that have waited for a very long time. So firstly, the whole year ahead from now, from till the next birthday, is going to be great for that, and especially the month ahead where you can kick things into action in a limited way. What's limited about it is that things need a lot of adjustment at first before they will work. Sometimes we need to adjust things further down the path in order to get them right. For the goals that we've been talking about, this is the time to adjust before you really get going. It's a great opportunity to ensure that the whole path is going to work really well for you. Adjustment right now means adjustment to other people. It looks like there's a fair amount of negotiation that needs to happen in order for your goals to be able to really work this month. And it also looks like that includes a lot of compromises on your part, at least at first. A great approach to take and to understand is to identify where you are acting as your own worst enemy. Be honest with yourself. Realize that sometimes standing your ground is the same as shooting yourself in the foot. In the long run, your goals are going to work out, so you can afford to make a few compromises and a few adjustments to whomever you're negotiating with, and then everyone can be happy. Leos, there are some things that you need to face, that you know that you need to face them, but you've been putting it off for a while. Perhaps you just don't want to face it, or don't want to have to deal with whatever baggage and garbage you might bring out by facing something that's been a bit swept under the carpet for a while, or that you've just ignored. Whatever the case may be, your chart says confusions and illusions that have existed for a while are fading away. You're seeing things as they clearly are, and sooner rather than later, you're going to need to act on that. So there's no time like the present, because your chart is also saying that despite the fact that this is the last thing you want to do, acting, going for it, going ahead is going to make things work easily for you. It's like the gates will open as soon as you push on them, but while you're standing there, they look like closed gates. This is going to allow you to achieve some goals that have been in in the wings, waiting for a while, or just not happening. And it's also going to let you identify who is really on your side. There are some indications in your chart that people who work for you might not be as beneficial to your goals as it seems. It doesn't mean they're working against you. It just means that they're either carrying their own baggage, or there's just something that's weighing you down about someone in your working environment. Might be able to release that a little bit and not deal with someone else's stuff. That'll free you to finally go ahead and get the most from yours. Virgo, there's nothing holding you back at the moment. This really looks like the time where anything you do is going to work for you. Anything you say is going to be heard. So now is the time to get your act together and make it happen. You can be distracted as ever by the stuff that you need to do for others. This is a time when you actually need to be more selfish. Many of your own goals, both professional goals and personal goals, are waiting to be achieved during the course of this month, and they easily can be. Most important are the professional goals. It looks like things are really working for you. It's possible, as ever, that there's more than one thing on your plate that could be demanding your attention. You have to be a little bit ruthless and focused, because the right thing is going to work for you, and it's not going to be difficult to know what the right thing is. It looks like a goal that has been held for a long time, or that has repeated itself and recycled itself in your life, and now is saying, this is the time to go for me. You're being heard because you're being understood. People are finding you convincing, persuasive, believable, and wherever you need to be able to use those communication skills, this is the time to put them into action, because they are going to help you achieve those goals. It looks like you can do pretty much nothing wrong this month, Virgo, so what are you waiting for? Libra, it is looking a little hard to maintain focus this month, because there are quite a few things that are demanding your attention, but nevertheless, just with a little bit of effort, you're going to get great results. It looks like this is a month where you can increase your financial resources. You might be able to expect loans or anything else, money that is owed to you, to come back to find you, or it just might be that you get great input, great resources and money from work that you're doing this month. But now is the time to really start building up some financial security, as well as a sense of your personal achievement, something you often neglect to do, and that is just stop and have a look at yourself and pat yourself on the back and realize, I'm doing it, I can do it, because sometimes you're too worried about other people to remember to worry a bit about yourself. And this is a time where the evidence is all there. You'll even find that it's one of those times where a little effort goes a long way. A small reach out produces much more results than you expect. The challenge remains that too many things on your plate is that it looks like you might have to travel, you might have to move around. The challenge is going to be focusing yourself and kind of staying in one place in order for you to be really able to benefit. But that's a small price to pay for the great rewards that look due to you this month. Scorpio, you're in a strong position in terms of achieving your goals or getting the resources you need at this time, but you really need to be asking yourself, is that what I want to be doing right now? This is in fact a great month for just re-looking at your spiritual life, kind of pulling yourself back together in that regard and seeing what you've neglected about what's important about inner life and spiritual life for you. You are one of those signs that usually finds those things important, and it looks in your chart right now that you can gain a lot by reconnecting with your spirit, reconnecting with that inner you, and getting an opportunity because of that to reassess what you're doing in your life and what's going on. It's not a major sea change for your life. It's one of those inner subtle things that perhaps the people around you don't realize, but that ends up really strengthening you because it reconnects you to your source, whatever your source might be. So take the time to reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your spiritual life, and maybe pull back a little bit from the strong approach you're taking to the world at the moment. You might find yourself needing to be defensive, needing to be assertive, all of those things which you easily do, but might not be that necessary at the moment. Just pull back, go within, benefit from that reconnection, and everything else benefits. Sagittarius will also benefit by being a little bit more selfish this month. You're normally a very generous person and you easily extend your concerns to everyone around you. That's never going to change, but sometimes you just need to be a little bit more focused on what you need right now. And what you need right now is some kind of security. This could be stuff around the home, and just really means concentrate on stuff around the home. Make sure stuff that needs to be done is done, and that anything with regards to the people in the home, the domestic life, is a lot of your energy is required there, so that make sure that is taken care of. It does look like you can't do it alone this month. You're someone who likes to be free to do your thing and to do whatever you like, and this just is not one of those times, and you wouldn't want it to be, because there's an opportunity for you to meet people who can be important or influential in your life at this time. Probably not in a huge big way. This is probably something that's moving through quite fast. It's a little bit like I'm really saying there's a gap that you can take right now that's going to bring important things into your life through people. It could even bring money or other resources. It could be something you've waited for a long time, or something that you just immediately realize, this is what I need it now, I need to go for it. That's why you need to be a little bit more selfish this month, because you need to go for what you can feel in your heart you need right now. So go for it. For my last pair of horns I'll wear tonight, it's Capricorn. And Capricorns, you need to take stock of what's going on, because as always, looks like you're working very hard. That's a great value system, and things do get done when you do that. But it doesn't look like the results really match the amount of effort you're putting into things. So Capricorns, this is time to wind in a little bit and match that a little bit better. And it's all good, because that means you can be doing more fun things, more things for yourself, more goals that have other benefits other than your professional advancement in life. So it's time to reassess, just for now, what are you getting out of the efforts that you're putting into things, because you need to get something that benefits you a bit more personally. That's especially true if you're doing things for others. It doesn't mean don't do things for other people. It simply means that it looks like other people are benefiting more from your efforts and your energies than you are benefiting. You could make a bit of an adjustment around that. Put things into where you are going to see the results. So it might mean pay more attention to hobbies or fun things, or things that have no apparent other value in your life, or just pay more attention to yourself, your spiritual life, and your inner life. All I'm really saying is that you can afford to work a little bit less, rest and play a little bit more, and you're still going to achieve a lot over the course of the next month. Aquarius, you're the opposite of your cousins, the Capricorns, at the moment. You need to lay aside some of the fun stuff and get back involved in some of the important stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of that important stuff is not going to show immediate benefits to you, and might not even be beneficial to you personally at all. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you, because it's beneficial to whether it's causes you support or people you support. It's a really good use of your efforts and your energies. So that shouldn't be too hard. The hard part is motivating yourself to do it. A great idea in all things at the moment is to set up goals that are meaningful to you, even within what you need to do for others at this time. So concentrate on, there's a small benefit for me, but there's a larger benefit, and you're one of those people who you benefit when the collective benefits. Be careful not to get drawn into having to do things for people where there's no benefit either to your larger goal or the community or any of those areas where you like to support with your energy, because it does look like you can get drawn into stuff that's got nothing to do with you. So have good boundaries, be comfortable with saying no, be comfortable with prioritizing what benefits the greater good, and how can I see a target for myself. That's what's going to make things succeed. Pisces, there is a lot of focus around your personal life at this time, and this is a great opportunity not only to sort out existing relationships, but to develop relationships and to make new connections as well. Your most important relationships are really going to thrive over the course of the next month, and this is a great time then to put new energy into them, to make new goals with your partner, to shift things around, to really make sure that you are enjoying and benefiting from the relationship as much as possible. It does look like there are all kinds of new relationships, not only new romantic relationships possible in your life, but new connections with people who can turn out to be quite important or instrumental. That's also a great sign of new friends in your life. We don't easily and often make friends in our lives, but Pisces, this is one of those times when you can connect with people in a really deep and meaningful way, and might find yourself making a friend for life, or someone who can bring a lot of new things and a lot of good things into your life. You're often challenged to keep boundaries in place. That's never going to not be true, but right now it's best and great to extend your heart, to open yourself completely in a way that is natural to you, and while still staying smart about it, connect with people you might otherwise never have connected with and expand your horizons.